So I just woke up from a nap and I had this really great dream and I wanted to document it so that way when I become rich, I can make a movie and sell this to the masses because it was a weird dream. Um, so the first part, my brother was collecting these like stunned birds and they weren't like real birds. There weren't any kind of real species of birds, but they were really pretty. I'll have to like sketch them out so that way I can remember them when I put them into my movie. Um, and then he would take these stunned birds, and then he would stick them into wreaths and stuff. And so then when they would become unstunned, they would like come back alive, and like go crazy inside these wreaths. But it was really pretty. Um, and there was this old fat man who I would probably turn into like some kind of like big old cat or something, and he he like yelled at David for being a liar and a cheat and a thief and stuff. And so I like ran up to him and I was just like, look, David's always been a liar. It's not his fault. Which made sense in the dream, but it was not very stuck in reality. Um, and then this is the good part. I was at my grandparents' house and like we were all sitting in a sleigh in the den, except they had a lot more money than they really do. Like it was like I come from money, ho, 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 ho. And like we were all in like old Victorian dress, and we were watching TV. We were watching this movie that my aunt had made or something, and except it was my dead aunt, um, and so we were watching that, and then my dead aunt asked me if I wanted to eat some caviar, and I was just like, well, I've never had caviar before, so I might as well try it. Um, and so I went over to the caviar and I like put a little bit on crackers, and she was just like, "Oh no, that's not enough. You have to put some more on." So I put some more on, and then I like ate it, and I started turning into like this giant black and white cat. Like it turned into like a black and white effect on my skin, but only when in the parts that like were turning cat like. It like my eyes were cat and my mouth was cat, but my nose was still person, and then like it just kept sprouting elsewhere, and then finally like my nose turned cat, and then like this giant bubble of water like sprouted out of my body and like went except my mouth and my nose were still uncovered, and then my mouth and my nose went covered and I started drowning in this like it was kind of like Howl's Moving Castle when he turns into that giant booger. Like when he secretes that like mucus stuff. That's what it was like. And then like I collapsed on the floor because I was drowning. And then my grandmother's maid, who was actually like my grandmother, but she was the maid, she like runs in and she like holds this giant dagger at my throat. She like goes to stab me in the neck with this giant dagger thing. And then like all of a sudden like I turned not into a cat and not covered in mucus, and she was just like, oh, the only way to save him was to make him think that he was dead. And then he like turned on my aunt, and like her little like cat animal sidekick thing, and so like all of a sudden they were on the ground, and so then the maid, my grandmother, stabbed them in the neck, and they turned into like this giant like confetti thing. It was really cool though. Like that would be a fun special effect to do. Like they went and then they just went all over the ground. And then they just kind of melted away. So apparently like they were either not my real aunt or well, my aunt's dead, so but also this was in Victoria. Like Victorian era, not in a girl named Victoria. Although that could add a new dimension to it. Um, and so, like, the background of the story was that my grandfather had this money, but he was all jaded and stuff because he could have a lot more money. Because in actuality, he sold, he was in like some kind of race to be the next Ford in like ages old America. And like he was the direct competition for Ford, and he made all this money for like starting automobiles and blah 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 blah. And then he like sold his patent to Ford, and then he like made a good amount of money off of that, like enough to make him kind of wealthy. And then Ford made like billions upon billions, and so he was all bitter because of that, because he could have made billions upon billions upon billions. Um, and then like before that dream, I got married to a woman, except she was kind of, I don't even remember what she looked like. She might have been half cat too. I don't know why I had all these dreams about half cats. Um, or maybe she was just a whole woman. I don't remember. But yeah, we got married, and then we like went back to my dorm room. Except it wasn't actually my dorm room, but it was like supposed to be my dorm room, but it was a different room. And so then we like just started having sex a lot on the floor. Except it was set to like Dance Revolution or something. So we were having sex to the beat of a Dance Revolution song. Except I couldn't stop having sex with her because I really enjoyed having sex with a woman, and I was very confused. And then she like disappeared, and then my ex-boyfriend like walked in the room. He was like, "What's going on here?" And I'm just like, "I just got married and I'm having sex with a woman." And then I had that dream about the cat blob mucus thing. Also, the best part about the cat blob mucus thing dream was that when I was inside the dream, I was convinced that it was the exact same plot as Amelie. And I like ran up to my friend and I was just like, "Hey Andrew, you know what? Amelie is based on my family," because I thought that this was all really actually happening. Like, I turned into a cat mucus blob, and my aunt turned into confetti, and my grandfather was like an automobile magnate,